you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
So much so that I had to ask around. I'm like, hey, I'm kind of a nice guy, right?
Hacker is an ass.
I try, as I'm getting into my old age at 39 years old, try not to let things bother me. Just know that I'm ultra soft.
And he doesn't shy away from opinions.
See Baker Mayfield throw 4 passes, but I get to see this homeless guy return a ball for a touchdown.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Tuesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, our late night show. Are you kidding me? Ladies and gentlemen of Jacksonville, Florida, let me ask you a question. Where would you rather be from 10 o'clock to midnight than right here with Dylan Denmark and yours truly on Hacker After Dark? And we do appreciate you staying up late with us each and every Tuesday. The new college football playoff rankings are out. We will certainly get to those in a moment. We will talk about championship weekend in the world of college football with my friend Brent Beard. You see him on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. That comes up in less than 10 minutes. Also, we'll do a little Jaguar talk tonight. John Shipley of Jaguar Report, that's a part of Sports Illustrated. We'll have John on to recap the big win over Houston, but more so look ahead to Monday Night Football returning to Jacksonville for the first time in 12 years next Monday as the Cincinnati Bengals roll in. Also, the high school half hour, or I guess the high school spotlight, it's about a half hour, the high school spotlight in the 11 o'clock hour, as we will talk about 5 area teams that are still in contention for a state championship. In fact, 3 of those head coaches will join us tonight. Verlin Dormany of Trinity Christian, Jamie Rogers of Bradford County, and Toby Bullock of the Mandarin Mustangs. But as we always do, to kick it off here on Hacker After Dark, we give you a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
The 4 best versus the 4 most deserving. That could potentially be the question for the College Football Playoff Committee come Sunday. Rankings tonight: Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Washington 3, Florida State 4. On the outside looking in, Oregon 5, Ohio State 6, Texas 7, Alabama 8. Ohio State's out. They don't play again. They're not going to get in. So you can eliminate Ohio State. There are 7 teams that have a shot for these 4 spots. I'll make this as simple as possible, but I think it would cause the most chaos. Michigan wins, Washington wins. They're undefeated, they're in. That's half of the playoff spots gone with Michigan and Washington, assuming they win. If Alabama beats Georgia, if Texas beats Oklahoma State, and if Florida State beats Louisville, what do you do? You would think Alabama would be a shoo-in to get in, right? 1 loss, SEC champion. Well, they're ranked number 8 right now. Are they going to jump up 4 spots with a win over Georgia? Probably. So let's assume that happens. They would be screaming about that in the state of Texas. Remember, if Texas wins the Big 12, they would only have 1 loss too, and they beat Alabama in the regular season, and they're ranked higher than Alabama tonight in the rankings. So that could be interesting. But for the audience that we have, Georgia fan, Florida State fan, again, Michigan wins, Washington wins, they're in. Alabama beats Georgia by less than a touchdown. We'll put the Crimson Tide in. That's 3. Who gets that 4th spot? The 1 loss defending back-to-back national champions who have been the number 1 team all year in the Georgia Bulldogs, or the undefeated Florida State Seminoles who have a backup quarterback. Florida State would be more deserving. They're the undefeated Power 5 team. Are they better than Georgia? For that matter, are they better than Texas? Are they better than Alabama? That's for you to decide. That is for the committee to decide. But it's sort of fitting, and it would be fitting, if in the last year of the 4-team playoff before we expand to 12, we had a little chaos this weekend. Normally, it works itself out. Will it work itself out this weekend? We'll have to wait and see, and that's what makes the beautiful part of championship weekend in the world of college football. Let's talk about more of that with my friend Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. We'll talk college football playoff. We'll also wrap up, thank goodness, the Florida Gator season. A little college football talk to kick us off. Brent Beard next, Hacker After Dark, Tuesday night in Jacksonville, Florida. It's 1010XL, and it's 92.5 FM.
He doesn't live at the stadium, but you might think he does.
Nobody knows the Jags like Johnny O.
Oh, no. Wednesdays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Brought to you by Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Learn more at chase.com/business premier. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Account subject to credit approval. Restrictions and limitations apply. Cards are issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank. Any member FDIC.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Are you trying to sell your home here around the holidays and you think you may have problems? Can I just send you forward, spoiler alert? Call Chad and Sandy today or go to chadandsandy.com, 904-414-6200. Why do I skip ahead? Because any problem you think you have, they have the promise and a solution. It's pretty simple. Doesn't this about cover it for you? They will sell your home, Chad and Sandy, at a price that you agree upon, or they will buy it. That's right. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Perhaps you're worried about settling for less money with a lowball instant offer. Well, that promise takes care of that, doesn't it? Just listen to Tanya from Magnolia Glen. I had moved out of state to South Carolina. I was desperate. Not one, but two realtors failed to sell my home in 160 days. Chad and Sandy sold it in 5 days. Go to chadandsandy.com or call 904-414-6200. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
Brackish Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is the smoothest local vodka you can find. Made right here in Jacksonville, Florida, 100% from corn, Brackish Vodka is the local gluten-free choice. Brackish Vodka, for those that live life slightly salty, a proud partner of the Jaguars. Don't forget to ask for Brackish Vodka when you enjoy your favorite signature cocktails at Dos Gatos.
Get fishing tips and stories from Captain Kevin
Bite's gonna pick up pretty soon
on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Whoa! Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Lauren Brooks here. Tired of joint pain holding you back? Try BioTarget from Injury Care Centers. This treatment will prolong the life of your joints by targeting the root of your pain and delivering more regenerative cells to the affected area, ensuring faster and more effective healing, making BioTarget the most advanced regenerative treatment. For a limited time, BioTarget starts as low as $499. Call Injury Care Centers or visit GoBioTarget.com. That's GoBioTarget.com.
Hey, hon, our new True Flame Grill from CSS is installed and ready to go.
I still can't believe what a great deal we got from CSS. They're always so good to us.
Well, they said the new True Flame Grills redefine value from premium craftsmanship. I mean, look at this thing. Multiple heat zone separators, stainless steel to withstand the weather.
A lifetime warranty and cool lighting so we can grill at night.
Okay, let's get cooking.
True Flame Grills. See them today at CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Superior Fence and Rail knows about exceptional customer service. From the first call to the final inspection, Superior's team provides first-class care with great communication, friendly installers, and quality fence products. There's a reason why Superior is the top-rated fence company in Jacksonville. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your new fence today.
When you're on the fence about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Denny Thompson here. This holiday season, tackle burglars and protect your turf. Give the gift of peace of mind. Catch everything around your home with Tyson Sound & Security's cutting-edge surveillance cameras. Whether you're traveling for the holidays or just cheering on your team, earn a big score on safety and convenience. Tyson has you covered for all home cameras and security systems. Call Tyson Sound & Security right now for the holiday season at 904-762-1000. That's 904-762-1000. Tyson Sound & Security. Security and automation experts.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. It is a Tuesday evening, and we are glad you are with us. Championship Saturday. Well, really, championship week begins Friday, a huge one in the Pac-12 between Washington and Oregon. And then you have all the conference championship action on Saturday, including the big one in Atlanta between the Crimson Tide and the Georgia Bulldogs. Let's talk about all of it with my friend Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Mr. Beard, how are you, my friend?
Listen, it's amazing how much stuff there is to keep up with right now. With the coaching carousel, and we're basically a week away from now the transfer portal is ongoing because players are now announcing that's where they're going, but it hasn't officially opened until next week. So in the transfer portal, we're going from probably 45 right now to where we're going to be going about 100 miles an hour next week. And then you've got games, you've got maybe the most important decision this committee has ever made, or most controversial. So if you love college football, it's a wonderful time of year.
I've known you over 20 years. I think I would call you a college football purist, right? Yeah. A historian, if you will, a lover of the game. Do you like the transfer portal, Brent? Because you cannot log on to social media for 1 minute right now and not seeing a kid enter the portal.
Well, I mean, if I had my druthers, I wish we could put the genie back in the bottle. But I mean, it's just one of those things I have accepted. Now I can see some of the positive benefits of it because, like a Florida State. I mean, you can basically create not necessarily a totally different team, but a lot of your roster can be changed for the better. So I can certainly understand that. But heck, do you have some feelings for some of these schools that are just basically getting rated? I mean, Troy, South Alabama, Southern Miss, FIU. I mean, just name one, and I know that's kind of the nature of the beast right now, but got to feel a little bit for those schools too, don't we?
Yeah, there's no question. Like you said, it's not even really open yet. I mean, it's open halfway. After Championship Saturday, it's going to be bombarded. But again, you log on to social media right now, and there's a kid every 5 minutes from somewhere in the country entering the transfer portal. All right, let's quickly get to Florida. They don't deserve that much of our time. That was embarrassing on Saturday night, not from an on-the-field football product, But all I hear about is culture, Brent. That's what people want to say. They're building a culture down there. And I got a kid hocking a loogie in somebody's face and getting ejected. I got 2 defensive backs trying to kill Tate Rodemaker when he dives down 5 yards short of a first down. One gets targeting. He gets ejected. I got Eugene Wilson violently shoving his coach's hand off his shoulder when the coach was trying to prevent him from getting in a fight. That was embarrassing, quite frankly, for the Orange and Blue on Saturday night.
Well, I think the lack of discipline, as you're talking about, is a problem. And I think a bigger problem is when Billy Napier, who I admit I have supported, it says when he's asked about discipline problems in the press conference, well, give me an example. Well, I mean, in this Lake Forest State game, you could give him half a dozen examples. So, and look, case in point, the spitting in the face is, I mean, nobody does that. And you've got to be, you hate to say it, but it's just reality. You've got to make an example of him somehow. And the biggest thing that did was the momentum that it gave Florida State, because at that point they were dead in the water. So, but still, with all that said, here's a team that's 5-7. And they're not going anywhere, which may be a blessing for them right now. But who could easily, couldn't they, Hack? Who could easily be 7-5 or 8-4? And then the latest thing is parting ways with defensive line coach Sean Spencer and Corey Raymond. Now, look, someone explained the Corey Raymond thing to me, because when he got Corey Raymond from LSU, I mean, when Corey Raymond was with LSU, I mean, Hank, as you know, he was basically the recruiter of the year on multiple years. I know at some point you got to make some changes, and it's good that he does, and he's still got to hire an offensive coordinator, special teams coach, but that one left me scratching my head.
You get Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. I'll explain it to you the best way I can. Recruiting's fine, but the Gator DBs were terrible. Yes. I mean, I got so tired of watching Jason Marshall and Jalen Kember get beat week after week after week, and not even. And Jalen Kember on Saturday night, good heavens, on the Benson touchdown run. He made a business decision there. It's like he didn't even try. It was unbelievable.
Right.
So you got to make an example out of somebody. I understand Raymond's a great recruiter, and that's all fine and well. But when you allow 700 yards to LSU, when you allow KJ Jefferson and Arkansas to do whatever they want to you, when you get embarrassed by Georgia and Kentucky runs for 260 yards, I mean, you got to do something. So I don't necessarily even fault Napier for that. And I also wonder if Austin Armstrong went to Billy and said, hey, you hired me at the 11th hour. These aren't even the guys I want to work with. Right. Let me bring in my own defensive staff. That's the way I'm kind of rationalizing this.
Well, and that's fair. I get that. And I think part of the mistake they made with Raymond is he ended up coaching basically all the defensive backs to a degree, and it was just too much. So, but at this point, and I'm not saying the whole staff will be overhauled, but there will be a lot of them, and frankly, that's on that old category of we're going to do something to shake this up because we just need a change.
Yeah, last thought on Florida. I put this out on social media Saturday. Don't be happy that it happened. Be happy that it's over. And I think that's where a lot of Gator fans are right now. I just think they're happy they don't have to watch this for another, 7 or 8 months. They'll start jonesing for it around the spring, and hopefully they get a good recruiting class. But I think a lot of Gator fans that I know just need a break from this nonsense. It was tough to watch over the last 5 games. All right, the committee is going to decide the 14 playoff, Brent, on Sunday. A lot's going to happen, obviously, Friday night and Saturday. But let's play a hypothetical. And I talked about this last night. Is it the 4 best teams that should get in, or the 4 most deserving teams that should get in. Because I believe a nightmare scenario, Brent, for the committee, Washington wins, they're undefeated, they're in. All right? Michigan wins, they're undefeated, they're in. Half the spots are gone. If Alabama knocks Georgia off by a touchdown or less in Atlanta, Alabama's got to be in. They're the one-loss SEC champion that just beat Georgia. So now you have Alabama in, you have Washington in, you have Michigan in. You have one spot left. Do you give it to the undefeated Florida State Seminoles with a backup quarterback who might be more deserving, or do you give it to the back-to-back defending national champion who lost by a field goal in Georgia, who are clearly better than Florida State? Brent Beard, your thoughts.
Or do you go with Texas, who has had their best year in a while if they beat Oklahoma State? Now, I've been in that they had these mock committees, and I was there in 2018, and it was a tremendously fascinating experience just to see all the data that they go by and how they form what they said. And basically, the committee is charged with who are the four best teams, and that's what we heard in the when we were in that room together. So, is that still in vogue, or has that changed? And what you don't know is, with these committees, where do they go and what do they do from committee to committee is oftentimes a mystery. I mean, you've heard nothing out of this committee, and you won't until later when this is over. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways you could go with this. I understand the Texas argument. I also understand that if Alabama wins and they beat Georgia, who's the number one team, they've got a big argument there too. So what is unusual about this act this year is we have not had the upsets that we normally do because some of this would have been already figured out by now, but it hasn't been. So because of that, we are awaiting the most difficult decision this committee has ever made, and how ironic it is that if we fast forwarded a year, heck, we would barely even be having this conversation, would we? It would just be about seeding more than who's getting in.
Yeah, that's what I talked about last night. Denmark and I had a conversation, and we were saying, well, you know, it's going to be the last year of chaos, and Denmark goes, well, no, you know, next year Team 13 will be upset. And I said, yeah, they might be. But if you're 9-3, I don't care if you're upset, okay? You lost 25% of your games. You might be upset that you're Team 13, but you're 9-3. Who cares? This year, there's a legitimate chance that a 12-1, or dare I say even a 13-0, will be left out, and you'll never see this scenario happen again.
No, well, and see if you're a Florida State fan, the reason I would be concerned would be because of what you would have. How is the committee going to view the conference, and would they get penalized because this is not the greatest of conferences? So there are a lot of factors involved with this hack that are really going to be fascinating to see what this committee comes up with.
Final moments here with Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You always get him weekly right here as well on Hacker After Dark. All right, Brent, let's take this in slices. Let's go rapid fire. We got a couple of minutes left. In the Pac-12 on Friday night, Washington wins. I think they're safe to assume that they're in. The undefeated Pac-12 champion. The Pac-12 has been very good this year. They're ranked higher than Florida State anyway right now. If Oregon wins on Friday night, do they have an argument?
Well, I think they do. And I think that if you're going by the eye test, and the committee chairman has mentioned this, and also the control factor, but if you're looking at the eye test, who is playing better right now, Washington or Oregon? Well, it's Oregon. Oregon is playing better. and if they win, obviously that would be the huge thing there. But then you'd have a Washington team that would have an argument too. So that's a great point, and that game is a Friday night game. People need to be clued into that. And they had a barn burner the last time, and I can see the same thing going on too. But I'll tell you this. There aren't very many quarterbacks playing better than Bo Nix is right now, are they?
He's been fantastic. There's no question about that. All right, the Big 12. You mentioned Texas, and that's interesting because people tend to forget about them. If
That's
Texas wins, they have that win over Alabama, all right?
That's
So
right.
that could be interesting. Does Texas have an
yes.
argument if they win the Big 12?
Yeah, they would. Yes. Now, where it really gets sticky is if Alabama wins and Texas wins, and those two are the final. That your final team is an Alabama-Texas argument. Now that would be really fascinating on Twitter. Wouldn't it, Hack? Saturday night and Sunday morning before it's announced. But that's your reality. Now Texas is playing well. Now, see, Oklahoma State is like 20th. So would Texas be penalized by even beating an Oklahoma State that was 20th when Alabama beat a number one team? So, I mean, we're just throwing scenarios out here as to which makes you, you know, these people who say, boy, I'd love to be a member of that committee. Would you really want to do that this weekend?
There's no doubt. I mean, let's get to the SEC game, all right? Do you believe, Brent Beard, that Georgia has to win to get in? Now, obviously, if chaos happens all over the country, it changes. But let's say chalk holds in a lot of places. Do you believe Georgia needs to win to get into the playoff?
Look, I've even seen arguments from Georgia beat writers who have said that they need to really win in order to get in. That's almost hard to believe for a team that's been basically number one the whole year and have had very few close games. I mean, I know the Georgia Tech game was based on an 8-point win, but none of us believed that Georgia Tech was going to win that game. So I mean, that's kind of where you are. I mean, that sounds ludicrous, doesn't it, Hack? That Georgia could be left out if they lost by a field goal. But, I mean, you've got some of that possibility going around.
All right, Brent, as we wrap up, we'll get more into the coaching carousel next week, so it's going to be spinning more out of control by the time we talk again next week. Quickly, because I'm fascinated by this. All right, the Pac-12 champion, whether it's Washington or Oregon, for argument's sake, to make this easy, we'll say Washington wins, we'll say Michigan wins, Texas wins, Florida State wins, Alabama beats Georgia. Who are you putting in the 4-team playoff?
Boy, I'm glad I don't have that decision, to be honest with you. I mean, Michigan would be easy. Washington would be easy. To me, I think Florida State goes in.
So you do think they go in even with Rodemaker? Because that's my argument, is that if Alabama beats Georgia and Texas beats Oklahoma State, is Florida State one of the best? They're the most deserving because they didn't lose, but is it most deserving or is it truly the 4 best right now?
Well, that's what we don't know. And the other thing that I'm asking out loud is, I mean, Florida State would have done everything they could do.
Right.
There's nothing else they could do but beyond what they did. And that would be terribly unfair with them if they don't get in. But the question in this is how would Florida State and the ACC be looked upon with it? Now, what helped Florida State was beating LSU. I mean, LSU, although they're certainly not undefeated, there are a lot of teams that don't want to play LSU right now. I can assure you of that. So basically, I think, again, you would have, if you got chalk with some of these games, those teams would go in, but you're going to have at least, you're going to at least have one, I think, very controversial. Whoever the 4 seed is one that's going to be controversial with this, or it could be even more than that if we have multiple upsets.
I'll tell you this, Florida State needs to be big Georgia fans, because I think if Georgia wins, that doesn't complicate things as much, because then you would have 4 undefeateds,
That's
right?
true.
You would have Washington, Michigan, Georgia, Florida State, and then the argument would be you just take the 4 unbeatens. Where it gets complicated or messy is if Oregon beats Washington, or heaven forbid for the Noles, Alabama beats Georgia, and then you got a real nail-biter going into Sunday morning. But that's what makes it fun. It's the last year of the 4-team playoff. As we said, this time next year, we wouldn't be having this argument because all these teams would be in a 12-team scenario. Brent Beard's with us, First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, we'll do it again next week. I know you'll be submitting your Heisman vote next week.
That's
we'll kind
right.
of take a look at the finalists, and we won't give away your vote, but we'll just kind of get your mindset going into that, and we'll talk about the playoff and how it all shook out, my friend. I appreciate it.
Heisman vote due next Monday at 5 o'clock. That's the deadline. And as I go out here, I'll leave you with one more. Heck, what happens if in a snowstorm Iowa upsets Michigan 10-7? Where would we be then?
That would be, you know what, we haven't even talked about that, but that could play. There's no question. It's going to be fun to watch. Thank you, my friend.
Absolutely, bud. Take care.
There you go, Brent Beard. You get him every week right here on Hacker After Dark. Some more college football talk. Again, the rankings out tonight. Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Washington 3, and indeed Florida State coming in at number 4, Oregon 5, Ohio State 6, but they're done because they don't play this weekend. And then Texas 7, Alabama 8. You got 7 teams still alive for those 4 spots. And we'll see if we get chaos, if we get chalk, if we get somewhere in the middle when these championship games start kicking off, beginning with the Pac-12 championship game on Friday evening. To the National Football League we go. John Shipley of Jaguar Report does a terrific job covering the Jaguars. I want to talk with John about the Texans game and certainly look ahead to Monday Night Football. First time in 12 years the Jaguars will host a Monday night game here in the city of Jacksonville as the Cincinnati Bengals come rolling in. So Jaguar talk on the on-deck circle, the high school spotlight in the 11 o'clock hour as well. With Dylan Denmark, the Hacker Ryan Green with you. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us Tuesday night here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the gateway to game day.
You ready, champ? I'm ready for this my whole life.
Get you need to know for your weekend on Pregame Friday.
It's the greatest happening in sports.
Brought to you by MyBookie and Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
The YMCA provides after-school care programs for kindergartners through middle school at over 40 sites across the First Coast. Our programs focus on safety, health, social and emotional growth, and academic enhancement. At the Y, your child can build self-reliance, get help with schoolwork, explore new talents, and develop healthy relationships with others, all in a safe, nurturing environment. Plus, financial assistance is available. Learn more at fcymca.org.
Men, suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? Frustrated taking pills that don't work? Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough treatments with men lasting longer than ever without pain or surgery.
Call now. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results right in the office. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Listen up. This weekend, you'll immediately, why can I say immediately? Come see why. I can't say that line. Ugh. And a lifetime... Beaver's till... I've not lost it. We know we aren't perfect, but we try every day to do our very best to provide the wow experience you deserve, and we're so grateful for all our amazing customers. Visit us at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville to see just how much we appreciate you.
Local 234 plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and thank you to all the members and contractors for their continued support and partnership. Together, they've helped build a stronger foundation for Jacksonville since 1901. Enjoy spending time with your friends and families this holiday season. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Local 234. Make the right connection.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On November 28, 1895, America's first auto race took place from Chicago to Evanston and back. 6 cars, 55 miles, averaging 7 miles per hour.
At ABBQ, they are turning up the heat on game day with a spread that'll make your taste buds do a victory dance. Football and barbecue always play together. I'm talking mouth-watering wings, juicy burgers, and tantalizing appetizers that'll keep your hunger in check as you cheer for your team. Come for the food and football, and stay for the teal-colored Jell-O shots, your destination for mouth-watering barbecue and an unforgettable game day. ABBQ, meet and drink with us.
Looking for quality equipment and a name you can trust? Lepo Rents, Bobcat of Jacksonville, is your premier construction equipment dealer and rental house. We have the right equipment for the job, offering the big and small tools needed for your next project. Lepo sells and rents track loaders, excavators, boom lifts, and much more. For your next project, remember Lepo Rents, your authorized Bobcat dealer in Jacksonville. Visit them online at leporents.com.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
What is the only team in the NFL to neither host nor play in the Super Bowl? The answer coming up.
Having the right homeowner's policy protection means you're staying on top of your most valuable possession, your home. For information on finding an agent, go to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
The only team in the NFL that hasn't hosted or played in the Super Bowl? The Cleveland Browns.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Hey, Matt Hayes here. Expert Automotive is now open at our brand new state-of-the-art facility on St. John's Bluff Road. As always, every repair comes with a lifetime service repair warranty. Come celebrate our grand reopening by getting a free AC inspection, $50 off any repair, $199 brake specials, and free diagnostics all month long. Call 374-3373 or visit us at our new location at 2190 St. John's Bluff Road. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars now 8-3 on the year after a huge division road win in Houston, and they get ready for Monday Night Football. That's right, Monday Night Football returns to Duval County for the first time in over a decade when the Cincinnati Bengals roll in next Monday. With that, let's talk with John Shipley. My buddy of Jaguar Report does a terrific job covering the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. John, how you doing?
Hey, doing good, my friend. How you doing?
John, we're good. You and I talked 2 weeks ago, and at that point, the sky was falling. San Francisco had just beat the Jaguars 34-3, and Jaguar fans didn't know what to do. But 2 humongous division wins later over Tennessee and Houston, they're now 8-3, controlling the South right now. And, boy, now a huge opportunity coming up next Monday when the Bengals roll in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it really shows, that the NFL truly is, I know I say this a lot when I come on, but it's a week-to-week league. Like people are going to be riding the emotions and highs and lows of each and every game. And it really is, a test of endurance, a test of fortitude for teams to really be standing tall after, 17, 18 weeks. I think for the Jaguars, what they're showing is they're peaking at the right time. Under Doug Peterson, they're 11-4 in November, December, and January games. 2 of those losses came at Kansas City last year to the eventual Super Bowl champions, and one of those losses came to San Francisco this year, who right now probably looks like arguably the best team in the NFL. So overall, Doug Peterson's done a great job really, turning it up and getting this team to focus and dial in when the chips are really on the table and when the games really count at this point in the season. And I think, all the credit, obviously to him and the players, but especially, to Peterson for just having them prepared and having them their ability to bounce back after that 49ers loss. Because, since then, that the offense obviously, really poor showing against the 49ers. They really got killed, in national and local media a week after that. But since then, 2 of the best offensive performances back-to-back.
John, I'll tell you, that Houston team's pretty good, man. I mean, I knew their record. I knew about Stroud. But I didn't realize they were as good as they look. They're going to be something to reckon with here in the coming years.
I think it's going to be one of the best rivalries in the NFL for years. I think it's going to be up there with Kansas City and Cincinnati and Baltimore and Cincinnati and Dallas and Philadelphia. I really think that when you have 2 young franchise quarterbacks who are able to any given week, get into a shootout and, really, a classic like duel. I just think that's good for the game. It's good for fans. It's good for both teams. And I mean, really, this is what Jaguars and Houston fans have wanted for years, meaningful games in week 12, because that was a playoff game yesterday. That felt like a playoff game. It felt like a heavyweight fight. And, credit obviously to both teams for getting there, because Houston's not going to go away. It's not a flash in the pan. They hit on the quarterback. They hit on the head coach. They hit on Will Anderson. I know he didn't, have as much of an impact yesterday, but they have a lot of, hit on Tank Dell. They have a lot of exciting young pieces on that team. And I think, you're looking at 2 of the better, teams moving forward in the AFC between those 2.
John Shipley of Jaguar Report. John, you alluded to it earlier. Trevor Lawrence in the last 2 weeks has thrown for over 620 yards, has thrown for 3 touchdowns, and also run for 3 additional touchdowns. Correlation there that Zay Jones is back over the last 2 games, or is that just a coincidence?
I don't think it's a complete coincidence. I mean, you're seeing the Jaguars air it out more. The last 2 games, I think their air yards per attempt, the 2 highest games they've had this year have been the last 2 weeks. I think that's part of it. They're able to move around Calvin Ridley a little bit more. I do think it's big because defenses at least have to respect Zay Jones. When the Jaguars are putting Tim Jones or Elijah Cooks or Jamal Agnew out there, teams didn't really have to, pay them as much respect. But now the Jaguars are just, they're having so many different options. Defenses don't really know where they're going to go with the ball, and defenses can't commit to Calvin Ridley as much as they had in the first half of the season. So on that hand, I think it's big. But on the other hand, I mean, over the last 2 weeks, 5 catches for 30 yards. It's an interesting situation because it's not like he himself is really producing or, doing, the ball's not going his way a lot, but the offense has simply looked different with him in the lineup. So there's obviously something to it. I'm not exactly sure, how to put my finger on it, but there's obviously has to be something to it.
John, we sat here when the trade deadline came and went, and people were upset that they didn't get a pass rusher, and we'll get to that in a moment. But they did get Ezra Cleveland, and at the time you're thinking, all right, well, that's weird. Why would they do that? And then Cam Robinson goes down against Houston, and it's no problem because you move Walker Little out to what may be his natural position at left tackle. You bring Ezra Cleveland in, who started 42 games at left guard for the Minnesota Vikings, and the offensive line didn't miss a beat. Now, at the time you and I are talking, we don't have complete clarification on Cam yet, but my goodness, what a move by Baalke in shoring up the depth on that O-line.
Yeah, I absolutely. That move is one that, had obviously been panned for a couple of weeks due, especially at the 49ers game, due to the pass rush and due to the fact that he wasn't yet, playing for an obviously, struggling offensive line. But yet yesterday shows why moves like that are, really impactful, why they can go a long way. You obviously don't ever like to prepare for, a potential starting left tackle going down. But the fact that the Jaguars, like you said, were able to move two guys to two different positions and, didn't have any drop-off, to me, says a lot about their offensive line depth. I mean, I thought Cleveland played a really good game. That block he had on the Ernest Johnson's screen, his big, catch and run to set up Ridley's touchdown, I thought was, exactly why they went out and got a guy like that, a guy who just fits their system, really athletic, can do what they like to do along the offensive line. So I think, for any other team, we'll get the news on Cam Robinson's knee at some point today. For any other team, it'd be the biggest, story post-game. But for the Jaguars, it's obviously something to watch, but it's not really anything that feels like it's going to hinder what they do in these next couple of weeks because, like you said, they have the pieces in place to really kind of offset a loss like that.
John Shipley, you read his terrific work there at Jaguar Report. He also does the podcast weekly, I think twice weekly, that we'll get to in a moment. He's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. You look at the offensive line, John, and again, are they playing the Bosa brothers and are they playing Myles Garrett? No, but the Titans' D-line is pretty good. The Texans' D-line has been playing pretty good. And, boy, Trevor Lawrence has had some clean pockets the last two games. I mean, it looks like the offensive line is pass protecting the best maybe they have all year.
Yeah, no, so Lawrence has only been sacked once in the last two games, and that was a play where he scrambled and ran out of bounds like a yard short of the marker. So he really hasn't been touched all that much in the last 2 weeks. And like you said, these aren't, against two, elite pass rushers or anything like that, but it's not bad units. Jonathan Greenard, Will Anderson have had really good years. Malik Collins and Sheldon Rankins is a good interior duo. I mean, the Titans, Jeffrey Simmons, Anika Autry, Arden Key, Harold Landry, these are good players on both defensive lines. So I think, especially in the wake of that Week 10 game against the 49ers where the offensive line was really, it seemed like them and Press Taylor were the two places people were going to the most to, really hone in on in terms of criticism. I feel like both have really rebounded, really well, and especially, the offensive line. I mean, these last 2 weeks have been their best, 2 week stretch of the season.
John, speaking of the lines of scrimmage, let's move to the Jaguars' D-line. Josh Allen was a ferocious monster in Houston, particularly in the fourth quarter. He was darn near unblockable. You want to talk about the dollar signs that are flowing in his camp right now with the way that he's playing. That guy is going to get paid. He deserves it, and he is having by far and away the best year of his career.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's getting to the point now where, he's a legitimate defensive player of the year candidate. I mean, 12 sacks, 22 quarterback hits. He's a top pass rusher in terms of pressures and win rate. I think Next Gen Stats yesterday said he had 12 pressures, and 8 of them came against Laramie Tunsil, who they said had never allowed more than 4 pressures through a single pass rusher in a game before. I mean, that was an elite left tackle that he beat up yesterday, and he beat him up frequently. I mean, it started early in the game. He got a big, quarterback hit in the first drive of the game. Second drive of the game, he draws a holding on first down, and on second down, he gets a quarterback hit to force Stroud, to throw an incompletion. Third down, he gets pressure to fourth and incompletion. He was all over the field yesterday. Games like that, I feel like, are games where you need your blue chip players, your best players, your S-tier players to really stand out. And Josh Allen is one of those players. Him and Trevor Lawrence are the two best players on this roster, and he's deserving of all the flowers he's getting and more. And, it wasn't long ago. I remember that a lot of people were, frustrated that he wasn't there for OTAs or minicamp, and it sure seems like whatever he did seemed to have worked.
Yeah, there's absolutely no question about that. A couple of more for John Shipley of Jaguar Report. John, I want to get to Cincinnati and look into the future in 1 second, but when that field goal hit the crossbar in Houston, the Jaguars won. Well, there was a lot of celebration on that sideline. I think the guys knew That was a big one on the road there in Houston. They now have a stranglehold on the AFC South.
Oh, yeah, 100%. One thing I think Doug Peterson has done well is to, get the team to understand that, the biggest game is the next game, and to not make too much or too little of any game. I think, you look back at the 2018 Jaguars, and it was obvious that they had made beating the Patriots early on in the year their Super Bowl, and they put all their emotional energy into that week, and then they just fell flat after. I feel like this team does a good job of doing the opposite, but you could definitely tell that they knew yesterday was a big game, a statement game. I think they had been hearing all the, national praising of Houston and C.J. Stroud, and I think they really saw yesterday as a chance to kind of win back some of that respect that they had thought maybe had been lost.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a good thing they've been winning all this time, because for all the people that were knocking the AFC South coming into the year, they have 3 teams that are above 500 after Thanksgiving, and 3 teams that are in legit playoff contention with Indy and Houston. And Indy is 6-3 against teams not named Jacksonville. So, boy, the division's been good. So it's been a good thing the Jaguars have been very good this year.
Yeah, no, Titans are the only team in the AFC South without, a winning record right now. So it's definitely, looking like a division that's on the upswing. You have franchise quarterbacks in Jacksonville and Houston. I know Anthony Richardson didn't play a lot this year, but his flashes were really impressive. I mean, you have 3 teams really with a lot going right for them. And then you have Tennessee, who it looks like might be in the cellar here for a little bit.
John, we heard Josh Allen say it in the postgame locker room yesterday that he's never played on Monday Night Football. In fact, a lot of these guys have never played on Monday Night Football, Trevor Lawrence included. Monday Night Football returns to Jacksonville for the first time in over a decade when Cincinnati rolls in here on Monday. Now it's going to be a Joe Burrow-less Cincinnati team. They look like they're in free fall, but they still got some good players, right, with Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon. It's going to be a test, but what an atmosphere that should be next Monday down at Everbank Stadium.
Oh, 100%. And it's this is my 5th year covering the team. It's going to be my first, Monday night game. It's a big first for a lot of people in that building, and I think it's a big night for the organization, to kind of show that they're getting back in the national spotlight a little bit after a decade or so, deservedly, being out of it. So definitely a big night for them. It doesn't have the same luster as it would have with Burrow playing, but definitely still a big game. Should be a competitive game. Yeah, Jake Browning obviously is no Burrow, but the Bengals still have a talented roster, so it should be a good game. Well,
that's kind of my point all week and what I'm going to talk about all week. Joe Burrow, obviously, but this Cincinnati team is desperate. They're 5-6. They have Super Bowl aspirations, or at least they did prior to the Burrow injury. The guys in there still do in that locker room. They almost have to win this game, John. I mean, it's going to be a desperate Bengal football team in here on Monday night.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's the thing. You can never take anything as a certainty in the NFL. Anybody can beat anybody any given week. I mean, a Jets led by Zach Wilson with this putrid offense they have beat the Philadelphia Eagles, a month ago. So you never know what's going to happen. So it will take, the same amount of preparation and detail the Jaguars had to beat the Texans is what they're going to need, to beat the Bengals, even if it's obviously a different team.
John, tell us about the podcast. Tell us about Jaguar Report. What can people look forward to leading up to the Cincinnati game next Monday?
Yeah, you can hear us at the Jaguar Report podcast. We record twice a week. We'll record later today, kind of, reviewing and wrapping up yesterday's game, and then later on Friday this week to talk about the Bengals game. And then, just continue to follow Jaguar Report on Twitter, si.com/NFL/Jaguars. Daily stories. I have a great staff, really churning out good content, and we'll be there every day to try to give you guys the best Jaguars coverage possible.
John Shipley of Jaguar Report. That's a part of Sports Illustrated. He does an absolutely terrific job, and we always appreciate him joining us here on 1010XL. John, thank you, my friend. We'll do it again soon.
Appreciate you, my friend.
Find Florida Gators basketball on 1010XL.
The Gators duel with the Demon Deacons. Florida Wake Forest. Tomorrow night at 7:30 on 1010 AM.
With Black Friday appliance savings all month long at the Home Depot, we're making the holidays merrier by making holiday hosting easier with our lowest prices of the year on Whirlpool kitchen appliances. Get everything you need to store all your holiday favorites.
Dinner's ready.
And the leftovers. With top brand kitchen appliances at a great value. Final days to save up to $2,300 on select kitchen packages, including top brands like Whirlpool with Black Friday savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Ends November 29th.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Let me share an Awaken 180 secret with you. My coach, Krista, isn't just a coach. She's a personal cheerleader. Every week she tosses me a fun challenge. Sometimes it's whipping up a recipe from my go-to foods. Other times it's a video to hurdle over a mental block. But last week, she hit the jackpot by saying, Matt, just enjoy Thanksgiving with your family. She gave me tips to help navigate the holiday, but didn't lose focus of why I ultimately called Awaken 180, to be there for my family. And I still lost weight. That's the beauty of Awaken 180. It seamlessly fits into your life, even during holidays, parties, vacations, you name it. It's the reason Awaken 180 has become America's go-to for weight loss. I dropped double digits in my first week, and I'm closing in on 20 pounds. Do what I did and call Awaken 180 at 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com. Get down to your ideal weight fast and safely with Awaken 180 and keep it off with free lifetime support. No supplements, suppressants, or medications.
Hey sports fans, it's Hayes Carline for QC Kinetics. Look, are you sick and tired of living with that constant pain in your knees and back? Joint pain doesn't just keep you from doing what you love, it affects your job, your relationships, even simple things like getting dressed. It's time to call QC Kinetics. They've got 2 great locations here, Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. And look, you can get in. They have appointments available right now. This week, call them at 904-274-5522. You got to give them a chance. Hips, shoulders, elbows, they can treat everything with natural biologics from your own body. Powerful healing agents, highly concentrated. If you're tired of steroid shots that don't work, or if you're trying to avoid surgery, call QC Kinetics now to schedule your free consultation. Learn more about these exciting new cutting-edge treatments. Again, 904-274-5522. That's QC Kinetics.
Allentown Mortgage gives you both a fast online application process and an expert mortgage advisor to get you the best mortgage at the most competitive rate in the nation. You can be a number at a big box bank and spend weeks filling out paperwork, or call Allentown Mortgage. Eric summed it up in his 5-star Google review. Allentown knows the mortgage industry. When the big boxes say no, they say yes. The whole process went very smoothly. Get the mortgage experience you want. Go to allentownmortgage.com. That's allentownmortgage.com. NMLS number 103917, 4810 Executive Park, Jacksonville.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars, WJXL FM, Jacksonville Beach. Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician, Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Strength and resistance training are some of the best forms of exercise you can do to strengthen your muscles and improve your body composition. It may also lead to important improvements in metabolic health, meaning your blood sugar levels are easier to manage, and it also increases how many calories you burn at rest. The Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans recommends resistance training twice per week in addition to cardio training. Let's get fit, Jacksonville.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
Dreams Come True is the only local wish-granting organization giving dreams and special times to local children battling life-threatening illnesses. Find out how you can help at dreamscometrue.org.
City Rescue Mission provides life-changing support for the homeless. Find ways to get involved at crmjax.org.
Her Song is a nonprofit organization that breaks the cycle of human trafficking through survivor care, victim outreach, and education. Find out how you can help at hersong.org.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
The 5-star Veteran Center of Jacksonville is the place homeless veterans can go to recover, recharge, retrain, and reconnect. Learn more at 5starveterancenter.org.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
And the high school spotlight rolls on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. It is state Final Four week, and we have 5 area teams that are still standing. It has been a very impressive showing by Northeast Florida this year. One of those area teams is Bradford County. The Tornadoes remain undefeated as they knock off Baker County to advance to another state Final Four. Their head coach is Jamie Rogers, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Coach, how we doing?
Doing great. How are you today, Hacker?
Coach, we're great. And look, Baker County, that's a good football team. You had to play them twice. It was a tough battle in the regular season. Man alive, you guys came out last Friday and really put it all together in that victory.
Yeah, we played really well in all 3 phases. Again, we talked a lot this year. We've been talking a lot this year about peaking at the right time. I thought we peaked around week 8, week 9 last year. We changed around some things, physical preparation wise and lifting wise, and I made some adjustments in the middle of the season. And it just seems like some of those things have worked and with this particular group, and it seems like we're playing our best ball right now.
Coach, we'll obviously get to the future in a moment, the state Final Four, but 13-0 is 13-0. I mean, have you taken a moment in the last couple of days to think, wow, 13-0, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I try, especially the little bit older I get, I try to stop and enjoy it a little bit more, and watch my kids run around on the field after the game and hang out with them a little bit after the game, and just things like that. But reflecting on this year, it's been a great 2-year run. I'm not ready for it to end, but within the next 10, 12, 14 days, the whole season's going to be over. So I think it is important to do what you talked about and stay in the moment a little bit and try to take it all in. And we've tried to do that.
Jamie Rogers, the head coach of Bradford County, as they get ready for their state semifinal coming up on Friday night against Pensacola Catholic. Before we get there, Coach, I mentioned 5 teams. You guys, St. Augustine, Mandarin, Bowles, and Trinity, all still alive and all in your respective state Final Four games. Well, what does that say about the caliber of football here in Northeast Florida?
Yeah, it's kind of what we've always known. They've the adjustment to suburban and metro has definitely impacted the smaller area schools like ourselves. That maybe this opportunity at earlier points may have not been to take advantage of, but it's the usual names that are always there. Those are great programs that you just mentioned, and they always play really good football. And we have good football up here in the Jacksonville area, and the surrounding rural counties always play good, tough football and physical football. And, that's what it takes to go on the road if you have to do that or to win physical football games this time of year. That there's no soft teams that are gonna be still competing at this time of year. So, I think it does speak to the high quality of football we have here in this area.
Coach, Pensacola Catholic will make the 6-hour drive down I-10 to come to Bradford on Friday night. What do we know about Pensacola Catholic?
Well, I spent some time in the Panhandle, late 2009, 2010 in that area. And, the one thing that's constant about them, they're always here at this time. Over the last 10, 12 years, whatever it is, 15 years, they've always seemed to be in this spot. And, this will be one of the biggest teams. If anybody wants to come out and watch a huge football team run out on the field, this will be the biggest football team I've competed against since American Heritage in 2017. They're huge at every position. They do it the right way. They're physical. That's why they're still around. And, they got really good football players scattered on both sides of the ball. So I'm going to prepare our kids for a war, because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be physical the entire game. And they're a very good football program, and they're always here at this time of year for a reason.
Final moments with Jamie Rogers of Bradford County. Coach, what does it mean to be at home? They got to make the 6-hour drive, and they got to come play you in a home field that, quite frankly, is one of the best in the area.
Yeah, that's for us. That was huge. That's one of the reasons we wanted to finish the the year 10-0 and to try to get in one of those top 2 spots, it's huge. This time of year, trying to get travel plans, trying to get buses. They're probably going to stay overnight. I'm not sure if they are or not, but all that takes time during the week that takes away from your mental preparation of what you want to be doing. And that's the big key of having home field advantage. And like you said, our atmosphere to me is second to none in our area. What the folks here pull off with the pregame and during game and in game and third down situations, and it's everything that football is supposed to be about. Small town high school football is supposed to be about. Unbelievable atmosphere, and I'm sure glad we're going to be at our place Friday.
Coach, finally, you've been here before, right? Just 365 days ago, and it ended for your team in the state semis last year. How much motivation, how much will you call back on that game to remind the kids of that? What does last year's experience do for you guys on Friday night?
Yeah, I still got the scores, the revenge scores on the board. One of them was week 11 with Swanee, and then one of them was Final Four week. Those scores are still up on the board that our kids look at every day when they're lifting weights. So it's still it's the motivation factor I think is there. They committed themselves over the summer. We ran. There's no telling how much we ran, how much we lifted, and we still lift during class every day to get ready for these moments. And there'll be a small part of revenge, but once the game gets kicked off and the physicality starts, that'll go out the window, and it'll just be about 2 teams trying to get to a state championship game.
Jamie Rogers of Bradford County. Coach, invite them out if people are looking for a ball game on Friday night. Like you said, Pensacola Catholic, Bradford, you guys are going to have a whale of a game, and it'll be a great environment down there.
Oh, yeah, I have no idea of the other guys or anybody that's at home with our local teams. But if your team's not at home and you're looking for a great place to watch a high school football game, and the atmosphere is going to be unbelievable, come on out to Bradford.
Coach, best of luck on Friday night in the state Final Four, and I certainly hope I'm talking to you next week, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Hacker. I appreciate you.
And thank you to Jamie Rogers of Bradford County as they get ready to host Pensacola Catholic in a state Final Four matchup on Friday night. Another state Final Four matchup on Friday night. We'll see Trinity Christian heading down to Clearwater. Verlin Dormany is the head coach at Trinity Christian. Another state Final Four appearance, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Coach, how you doing?
I'm great, Hacker, man. It's fun being able to prepare for these ball games, this late in the year.
There's no doubt about that, and you've had 2 very good performances in the postseason. Is your team playing some of the best football of the year right now?
I really think we are. We finally got our offensive line back healthy, or healthy enough to be playing football. And then, I just think we started playing together better, as a football team.
Coach, 5 teams in our area are playing in their classification state Final Four. It's you guys, Bowles, Mandarin, Bradford, and St. Augustine. What does that say, Coach, to the caliber of high school football in our area?
Honestly, it says a lot, that you put 5 teams and there's 8 classifications in the M's and the S's, so there's only 8 possibilities really, or really 16 possibilities, and we have 5 of the spots. That tells you a lot. There's good football around this area.
There's no doubt about that. It's been a great season, a great postseason run so far. Again, Verlin Dormany is the head coach at Trinity Christian. Coach, up and down year for you, but I think you kind of like that because you schedule ridiculous opponents. You know that. You know that going into the year. You do that to get your kids ready for the postseason. That ridiculous schedule, hard schedule that you played, do you feel like it did what you needed it to do to get you guys ready for a game like Friday night?
Absolutely. We were talking about that in the coaches' meeting, and we were just talking about, if we don't lose the game to Riverside like we did, and then of course everybody was upset and not happy, and came back in as a team on that Monday, and I think the kids just finally said, okay, hey, you know what, enough's enough. We need to right this ship, and they have, and they haven't come close to getting beat. We just played some good football. Even against UC, the kids pretty much dominated the game. We made a few mistakes there, but we did a good job.
I haven't asked you about this in a year at least. I don't even remember if we had this conversation last year or not. You're certainly one of the voices in high school football that matter. And the Metro Suburban thing, Coach. I mean, you got to go to Clearwater, obviously, because you're a Metro and they're Metro. Do you like what the FHSAA has done there? It's in year number 2 now. Or do you think maybe it needs to be looked at as we move further along?
You're not ever – it's just like everything else, even playing football, you're not going to make everybody happy at the same time. So no matter what they do, somebody's going to be happy and somebody's not going to be happy. You know what I'm saying? So, I like it better when we had, A classifications and, you had your 1A and your rule, then you went your 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 8. It doesn't matter who you are across the state. If you're in that population category, then, you play each other. So whether, you're in Clearwater down in the Tampa area or you're over in the Panhandle and playing, something like Pensacola Catholic or something like that. So, I think it's just, I just don't think you have a true champion with the M's and the S's, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I've often wondered. Again, it's only been 2 years, but if the FHSCA wanted to spice things up a little bit, do what you're doing now, which I guess is fine, the M's and the S's, but then schedule the Metro champion versus the Suburban champion to be the actual state champion. I don't know if we'll ever get to that point, but I think, Coach, that would be fascinating.
You know what? Add another week to the season, but you're right. Then now you have a true champion, and guess what? Everybody else makes money. So, a lot of times that's what it's all about anyway, money.
Verlin Dormany of Trinity Christian. Well, let's talk about the state Final Four matchup on Friday. You guys got to go to Clearwater. They're very good. I believe they're undefeated. Obviously, that speaks for itself. What are the challenges going into that environment and playing that team on Friday?
I think a lot of it as you watch film over the weekends, they are good. They beat a very good Carrollwood Day team that has got some really good athletes on it. I know I talked to guys at Florida State, and they're recruiting several kids off that Carrollwood Day team. So for them, they were down 14 at one time, came back, got ahead, was down again with like 3 or 4 minutes left to go, and then drove back down the field, kicked the field goal, won it. It says a lot about them. I mean, they've been in some really, really tough situations here. They beat some really good football teams. So whenever you take kids on a bus and you travel 4 hours and try to get off the play, that's hard. So, you got to get ready to go all week long. You got to start preparing mentally today for what you got to do on Friday. And, hopefully when you get off the bus, your kids are ready to play and they're not sluggish and they do a good job.
Wrapping things up with Verlin Dormany. Obviously, you have immense experience in games like this. You're upperclassmen, too. I mean, you guys play big football at Trinity. You take them on bus rides, 3 and 4 hours during the regular season. So, if nothing else, you guys are used to a trip like this.
Absolutely. I told our kids the other day, we meet every day before we go to practice. I told them, I said, here's one thing you got to understand. When you come to Trinity, you just don't play 10 games and go home. You play to get in that playoff part of the season. And I said, if you're a ninth grader, you started playing football with us as a ninth grader, when you become a senior and you finished, you usually have played an extra these kids that are graduating right now, they've played an extra, I think, 11 ball games over the 4 years. So I said, instead of just playing 40, you've already played 51 games. I said, how much more experience is that for you than everybody else that just plays 10 games? That really puts you in a situation where you've had more game reps, you've had more practice reps, you've had more situations that you can get ready to play for big games, like getting on buses and going away and having to play in state semifinals and state finals. So mentally, it's great for us because, we've been there and done that, and our coaches have been there and done that, so we can relate that over to the kids. And so, it's just a fun time of the year.
Coach, leave us with this. We got about 90 seconds. Keys to victory. What needs to happen Friday night for you guys to be playing for a state title next week?
Well, they got a great dual threat quarterback. We have got to slow him down. So we have got to play great defense, which we've done all year. We have played great defense. And then offensively, you know what? We just got to keep doing what we've been doing the last few weeks, being able to run the football consistently, being able to catch the football. Bushy's done a great job distributing the ball around. A lot of kids have caught the ball. So it's just, them simple factors. And what does it all come down to? Blocking, tackling, and taking care of the football.
Berwyn Dorminey of Trinity Christian. They're heading to Clearwater Friday night in the state Final Four with a shot at the state title on the line. Coach, best of luck down south on Friday night, and we certainly hope we're talking to you next week, my friend.
Oh, me too, Hack. Y'all have a great week, buddy.
He is tough. He sets the tone. If the O-line is the backbone of the offense, then a back injury could be a backbreaker.
Oh, boy, this is starting to get ugly.
Listen for the personal injury attorneys Farah and Farah Injury Update on 1010XL.
Jacksonville.
Are you looking for durable, longer-lasting siding? LP Smart Side Trim and Siding is made from engineered wood that features durability and strength, thanks to a process called SmartGuard. This process treats every Smart Side product to the core, with waxes, resins, and zinc borate, and adds an overlay to the product, which helps LP Smart Side Trim and Siding withstand moisture, hail, humidity, and helps provide resistance against termites and fungal decay. Visit your local 84 Lumber to learn more.
Golfers, when's the last time you played Cimarron? New ownership, improved greens, fairways, and tee boxes, a new clubhouse, interior, exterior, including the Stone and Barrel Tap House, indoor-outdoor bar, live music. Practice, learn, and play program is only $59 a month. Unlimited range balls, weekly clinic from teaching professionals. Golf every day, $25 after 2 o'clock. Whether you scratch or just like getting out with your buddies, you have to try the new Cimarron Golf Club on 210.
The Army-Navy Game Watch Party is presented by the City of Jacksonville Military Affairs and Veterans Department. Watch on the world's largest screens with a kids zone and free admission or donation. Gates open at 2 for the Army-Navy Game Watch Party at Everbank Stadium.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Worried about keeping your home warm this holiday season? Well, Fenwick Home Services is offering 0 down, 0 interest financing on select Energy Star rated heating and cooling systems to ease the burden. And don't make a single payment for an entire year. Schedule your free same-day estimate today and enjoy a cozier home tomorrow. This offer is only available now through December 31st. Control your comfort and cut your wallet some slack by visiting FenwickHomeservices.com/radio.
1010XL celebrates athletic and academic greatness.
Listen for the High School Scholar Athlete Wednesdays on The Franchi Show.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
And the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on 1010XL.
Are you about ready to deck the halls for the holidays, but your home is cluttered with unwanted junk? Don't let the mess dampen your holiday spirit. Call J-Dog Junk Removal. And it's not just about cleaning up your space, it's about making a positive impact. You deserve a clutter-free home to celebrate in style. They're on a mission to make your holidays brighter and your home junk-free. Call now at 844-GET-JDOG or enter your zip code at jdog.com. J-Dog Junk Removal. Veteran-owned, veteran-operated.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From Roll-and Lock bed covers to Lear toppers to Cam Locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years, you can count on Catlin.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
To be our best selves, we need to take care of our whole self. That includes your spirit, mind, and your body. At the First Coast YMCA, our members find balance in spirit, mind, and body with unlimited group exercise classes, adult sports league, health coaching, and programs designed for chronic disease prevention. And when the Jaguars win, you win. We're waiving the joining fee the day after a Jaguars win, all season long. Use promo code DUVAL or visit the First Coast YMCA near you and find your why at fcymca.org.
John, I'm so glad I called Clearwater to get my sprinklers, yard drainage, and seamless gutters in tip-top shape.
Thanks, Frank. It's great to see you so relaxed here at the house, away from the microphone.
Yeah, John, just hanging.
All right, well, let me go ahead and turn the sprinklers on and show you how everything works.
Wow, look at that coverage. How good is that?
All right, Frank, let's go!
Clearwater Irrigation
And drainage to
ClearwaterJacks.com.
You can't have exceptional water quality without the hefty price. With Kanaya Water Systems, a premium, high-quality water and filtration system that won't leave your wallet taking an L. Search KENAI Water Jacksonville.
Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying. They can also signal a major problem or electrical emergency. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
888-8 Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
David here with Royal Pest Services. The cool down is coming, and with that comes the pesky rodents. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a complimentary roof and attic inspection to check for access points and any evidence of previous activity. Now offering military and first responder discounts.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. 5 area high school football teams remain. They will all be playing in their respective Final Fours for their given classifications this week. Only one public school in Duval County remains, and that is the Mandarin Mustangs. Head coach Toby Bullock and Mandarin have won 3 consecutive road games, and they are now in the state Final Four. Coach, how we doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Coach, appreciate the time as always. All right, you went through Winter Park, Lake Mary, and Sanford Seminole. You went through Orlando like a hot knife through butter 3 weeks in a row. How gratifying was that 3-week stretch for you guys?
You know, it's I don't know if it's anymore because of the schools we played. It's just awesome to be in the position we're in.
I mean, to beat Orlando 3 times in a row, and not just Orlando schools, Coach, but really good Orlando schools. I mean, Sanford Seminole, obviously, Lake Mary is terrific, Winter Park as well. You guys were battle-tested over the last 3 games.
Yeah, we were fortunate to come up on the winning side in those 3 games, and Seminole and Lake Mary were the top 2 ranked teams in the 4M classification playoffs. So that was pretty neat to beat them.
It was a great run, no question about that. You got another game coming up on Friday night that we'll get to in a moment. But what about that, Coach? 5 teams from our area are playing in the state Final Four. You guys, Trinity, Bowles, Bradford County, St. Augustine. Boy, it really speaks to the quality of football in our area.
It does. It does. You know, you never know how the ball is going to bounce. Apparently, score-wise, you know, I don't watch the film, but score-wise, they looked very dominant over a team that I thought would be a lot tighter. It was actually kind of funny. It was 14-14 a half in our score, and we had made our adjustments. I had talked to the team and had a couple minutes, so I figured I'd pull up the score, see how everybody else was doing. Everybody else was kicking butt, and I'm in a dogfight. I was like, where's my blowout in the 3rd round of the playoffs, you know? You know, they're cruising at halftime, and I'm sweating bullets. But it's awesome to see them go. You know, the coaches at those schools are excellent, and a lot of them have sustained success. I mean, Tobin at Bowles is phenomenal, and, you know, Trinity is Trinity for a reason. And, you know, Braddock is, you know, maybe the best young coach or best coach in my age bracket. I think we're about the same age in the area and has been for a long time.
Toby Bullock of Mandarin here with us, getting ready for the state Final Four on Friday night. You are the last public school in Duval County standing, and I think you've been that way now for a couple of weeks, and only St. Augustine and Bradford, the 2 other public schools in our area. Does that mean anything to you, Coach? I mean, private schools, obviously, with Bowles and Trinity, they're established and have long tenures in football programs, but it's obviously a little bit tougher in a public school environment. Yeah, you guys have thrived this year.
Well, we've been very fortunate. We've been healthy, and that's one of the big keys. there is a lot of pride with it. It would be a little bit more pride if someone in the 904 could actually see us play. If they didn't have to drive 3 hours a week to see us play, it would have been really neat to get a home game. We really thought we were going to get a home game for the 4th round of the playoffs, but it would mean a little bit more being the only school to represent Jacksonville public school-wise. But honestly, I don't think you think about it too much. You're just happy to get a chance to go to a state title, which still is very weird to even say.
You've been through Orlando 3 weeks in a row, back to back to back. Now you get to get on a bus and go a little further, about 4.5 hours down to Coconut Creek. I got to be honest, Monarch High School is a new one for me. I hadn't really heard about them. What do we know about them?
Very talented team. I didn't know anything about. I'd never heard of the school until 6 days ago, when I knew it was a possibility that we'd have to play them, and so we looked them up. They have 2 really, really talented young receivers. They got a good defense. As far as they fly around, they're scrappy in what they do, and they take advantage of your mistakes. They don't have a home school field, so we'll have to actually play at Coconut Creek High School. Monarch doesn't actually have a stadium of their own. I'm not 100% sure how long they've actually been around. I was told, I'm not 100% sure, but I was told Calvin Ridley is from Monarch High School.
Oh, well, there you go. That's interesting. You guys are road warriors at this point, right? I mean, getting on a bus and traveling for your kids on a Friday morning is probably like ho-hum at this point, correct?
Yeah, it doesn't. We have our itinerary set. We know what time we're leaving. We know where we're stopping. We know what we're doing. It really, the only thing that stinks about the road games is the drive after the game. You're tired, you're ready to go home and either start preparing for the next team or go to bed, and to have to drive 3 or 4 hours is the only thing that really stinks. But the road game, as far as affecting us, I don't think the road game, I think we've gotten past that. If we were, unfortunate to lose, I don't believe it would be because we were on the road.
Final moments with Toby Bullock, the head coach of Mandarin. Coach, 4M is no joke. I mean, that's the best schools and the biggest schools in Miami, Orlando, Tampa, obviously Jacksonville, and there's only 4 of you left, and you're one of them. I mean, did you know coming into this year that you might have a special group?
I knew we had the talent. You never know if the ball's going to jump your way and bounce and do everything you need it to do. You don't know if you're going to stay healthy enough. I knew we had the talent to go as far as we wanted to go. And it's an awesome feeling to have a chance to earn the right to play for a state title this week. But, I knew we had the talent to do it. It just came down to whether we were going to have the discipline to be where we would be and have our assignments and execute those assignments to get that chance.
All right, Coach, keys to victory Friday night. What needs to happen for you guys to be playing for a state title next week?
First, stay who we are, stay true to who we are. And it really is as simple as, block, tackle, run. If our guys do what they're supposed to do, we can play with anybody. And if we don't turn the ball over, we're not careless with the ball, if we're tackling well, those are the keys. I think those are the keys most weeks for any team, but I don't know that they've been more true than this week for us.
3 consecutive road playoff wins. They're going for 4 on Friday night. 4.5-hour drive to Coconut Creek. Monarch High School, the winner, will be in the state championship game next week. Toby Bullock of Mandarin. Coach, congratulations on a great year. Go get the W on Friday night.
Thank you so much, Hacker. Let's do.
It's high school football playoff play-by-play.
Bowl State Championship chase continues Friday in Miami. It's the Bulldogs in Norland. Catch every play starting at 7:15 on 1010 a.m.
Are you ready for the ultimate happy hour experience? Look no further than Bellwether, downtown's undisputed champion of good times. It's Tuesday through Saturday from 4 to 7 p., with the exception on Friday when happy hour starts at 11 a.m. Rally the team and head over to Bellwether. The vibe is full and the food is unbeatable. Free parking after 6 p.m. on weekdays and all weekend. Bellwether Restaurant, where great food and the best happy hour in town come together for an epic win.
The year is almost over. Do you need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt-free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit can get you $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Listen, if you have a ton of equity in your house, and Loan Pronto can help you turn that equity into cash. You can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards, pay off personal loans, or start that home improvement project. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact. So your 3% rate, it's protected. And with Loan Pronto's Express Equity Line program, 90% of the time, there's no need for an appraisal. So you can get your money super fast. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards before the new year. Get yourself on solid financial footing before the year ends and call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal Housing Lender, NLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Listen up. This weekend, you'll immediately, why can I say immediately? Come see why. Come see we. I can't say that line. And a lifetime, Beaver's tour. I've not lost it. We know we aren't perfect, but we try every day to do our very best to provide the wow experience you deserve, and we're so grateful for all our amazing customers. Visit us at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville to see just how much we appreciate
If you're at home on the range, tee it up with the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Tour news, local updates, and the latest gear. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL.
When you're a Gator fan, you get lots of reactions during the game. I'm Hayes Carline, and you'll get my instant reaction right after the Gators play. Brought to you by 5-Star Pizza, bigger, better, faster pizza on 1010XL social channels.
Men suffering from ED or PE, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances performance in the bedroom. Call 904-664-8217.
3 months or 3,000 miles. Which one are you at? Now, you might think you're just too busy this holiday season to get an oil change, and that's why Famous Quick Lube is the perfect choice to help keep your car in dependable travel condition. Stop in today. They'll change your oil, rotate the tires, check the filters, wipers, lights, and you get right back to your holiday plans. Fast, easy, and affordable. Famous Quick Lube. 13 locations, servicing every customer like they're famous.
Denny Thompson here. This holiday season, tackle burglars and protect your turf. Give the gift of peace of mind. Catch everything around your home with Tyson Sound & Security's cutting-edge surveillance cameras. Whether you're traveling for the holidays or just cheering on your team, earn a big score on safety and convenience. Tyson has you covered for all home cameras and security systems. Call Tyson Sound & Security right now for the holiday season at 904-762-1000. That's 904-762-1000. Tyson Sound & Security. Security and automation experts.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
This is your Mad Dads Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. Mad Dads is asking for good, committed men who want to be part of an organization that has been around for 17 years. We are a group that is part of the solution, not the problem. We are a group that don't stand around murmuring and complaining, but get into action and hit the streets to get the community to break the code of silence to remove the murderers off our streets. We do not require a lot of time, just willing and able bodies to get involved. We've had far too many murders this year already not to get involved. If you want to be part of this great organization, call 904-718-1649. We're looking for men, not men acting like boys. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. For information about Mad Dad, go to Mad Dads Jacksonville Chapter Facebook or MadDadsJacksonville.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
And the high school spotlight rolls on. 1010XL 92.5 FM. It is state Final Four time, and Northeast Florida has 5 teams remaining in the state Final Four. It has been a very good showing in the playoffs this year. Let's talk about all of them with Justin Barney of Channel 4. He's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Justin, how you doing?
Not too bad, Hack. Got through Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and still a lot of football left to talk about, so that's a good thing.
Justin, 5 teams in the state Final Four this week for their given classifications. That seems like a lot, right? I mean, it's been a good year in the postseason.
Yeah, it had a good year. I think we had roughly that same amount last year, but unfortunately, when it happened at state semifinal round, all those guys lost last year. So we'll see if that can change this time around. It was the first year since 2000, and I believe only the 10th time in about the last 50 years that has happened for our area to be completely shut out of a state championship game. I don't think that happens this week. I think we've got a pretty good chance for representation next week in Tallahassee.
Quickly, 2 team seasons did come to an end last Friday, Baker County and Bartram Trail. Justin, a quick thought from you on both schools.
Yeah, I thought a very good season for both of those teams. You know, you looked at Baker County, had a little bit of a rough start, got things going. Kevin Mays has built him just a consistent performer down there in Baker County with a pretty simple formula: defense and a strong running game. You saw that develop throughout the year. They beat Yulee twice, including the round before in the regional semifinals. No shame in losing to Bradford for the second year in the regional final. So good thing, good year for Kevin Mays and the Wildcats. And, first year at Bartram Trail for Coach Corey Johns, and I don't think a bad year for them either. I know you lose to Buchholz in the regional final. It's a successful season. Buchholz, one of the best teams in the state. And again, you play a schedule like you did, and that could, I've mentioned it before, I think it could have the opposite effect for what you intend, and that's beat your guys down a little bit and demoralize them from having a tough regular season against the likes of IMG and those kind of guys. But they did not do that for Bartram. They won 2 playoff games in the Panhandle and came back here and lost to Buchholz. No shame in that one. Good first year for Corey Johns in Bartram Trail.
Quickly, Justin, before we get to the playoff games, Bartram, Fleming, Oakleaf, and Creekside, none of them could beat Gainesville Buchholz. Is there going to be reclassifications, redistricting, or are those schools going to have to figure out how to get over that Buchholz wall?
Yeah, it's the reclassification is on the table. I think there's going to be some more playoff conversation. Is Suburban Metro working? And I think that's going to come around the corner here soon. I think the board of directors meeting is not until next year, the first part of next year. So I know coach is not happy with that. They used to like to have schedules done in January, February, and not still be talking about what we're going to do in the upcoming year. But Buchholz has been in that Bartram district for a little bit of time, even predating the last couple of years. So yeah, you got to find a way around Buchholz, but they can't be good forever. Everything runs in cycles. You're going to have some of those guys, the Johnson at quarterback and the Miles Graham, the big athlete, those guys, sons of Gators legends, they're going to graduate at some point. So it'll be cyclical, and those Bartrams and the Creekside and the Oakleafs, the Flemings will be right back in that conversation.
Justin Barney of Channel 4. All right, Justin, 5 teams remaining. Let's begin with Trinity Christian. Now, they have a little bit of a travel going their way. They have to, I believe, go down to Clearwater to take on a very good football team, about 4.5-5 hour drive. What are your thoughts on Trinity Christian on Friday night?
I think they have a good chance of winning this game. It's a tough trip, and Clearwater Central's 12-0. Clearwater came up here last season and they beat UC at the finish and got to the state championship game. I thought UC should have won that game last year. I think Trinity can win this game this season. Of course, Clearwater Central, a very good team. They beat Berkeley Prep in the week 1, a Berkeley Prep team that beat Bowles 42-7 in week 11 of the season. So they're a very good team. I think Trinity has a chance to win this game just because the running game is strong. You've added a Cam Anderson to the backfield, who's been a very good complement to Darnell Rogers. Colin Hurley's throwing better. The offensive line is protecting better. You've got receivers who can catch the ball and do something after the play. I don't think Trinity Christian is going to be scared at this type type of performance, even if you got a Chaminade and Madonna waiting for you on the other side. I don't think anybody's going to beat Chaminade. I think they're probably the best team in the entire state, regardless of classification. They could slug it out with IMG. So I do think Trinity wins this game, and I think they probably get waxed in the following round against Chaminade.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you, but if Trinity does win, the conversation next week will be all about Verlin Dormany, right? He would be one win away from, I guess, tying Corky Rogers, correct, for state titles?
He will, yeah, it will be win. I don't think that happens this year, but yeah, it would be in that conversation too, as Trinity would get number 10. So that is, I know that's important for Verlin and that Trinity family. I just don't know if it happens this year, as long as Chaminade's standing in the way.
Justin Barney of Channel 4. Let's go out to Bradford County. They will be at home in Stark on Friday night against Pensacola Catholic. I talked to Jamie Rogers earlier on, and all he kept talking about with Pensacola Catholic is they are gigantic along the lines of scrimmage.
Yeah, and again, I don't think that matters. I think with Bradford, their defense, we saw how good it was last year, and they're better this year. And I don't know how that happened, because Bradford was pretty darn impressive last year, but if they have done anything, they've managed to kind of raise the bar even higher than it was in Stark. I mean, just a list of guys, linebackers galore: Jason Clark, Duke Lewis, Devin McBride, Torrin Brazell, Dejon Jenks, Khalil Cummings. Those guys all are just so good together. You've given up 49 points all season long, and I was completely mistaken on the game last week, the Baker County game. I thought that was going to be a slugfest, and Jamie and the defense and those guys, I think, took that a little bit personal, that people were figuring this was going to be a close game, and they left no doubt. 43-0. There's one common opponent between these two teams, Suwannee. Catholic beat them 41-3, and Bradford beat Suwannee 35-3. So, again, I think a good matchup, and I still don't think Bradford loses this game at home. I think they're on that collision course with Cocoa, a rematch of last year's state semifinal game, only that one will come in the state championship. Bradford's first state championship game appearance since 1985.
Yeah, of course, that'll be about a 5.5-hour drive for Pensacola Catholic down here to play Bradford on Friday night out there at Bradford County High School. Justin Barney of Channel 4 here with us on 1010XL. The Bulls Bulldogs, you'll hear them on 1010 AM Friday night. Their reward for going to the state semifinal is a trip to Miami to play what I believe is a top 10 nationally ranked Miami Norland team. I was talking to Matthew Toblin, the Bulls coach, earlier. Apparently Norland, Justin, has 6 defensive linemen, 6 D linemen with Power 5 offers on their team this year. They are a machine, no question about it.
Yeah, and that's what Bulls does. They grind through the regular season. They get these state semifinal matchups, and that you think they have no shot in, and they bang it out and have a good showing. I mean, last year they go to Plantation American Heritage. I thought they were going to get run off the field, and they end up losing a 17-10 game. So Bulls will be prepared for this game. And you look at Bulls this year, and they're 0-3 to start the season. People are kind of, saying it's just not the year. Bulls is dead, and lo and behold, they're in their 5th consecutive state semifinal under Matt Toblin. These coaches and the players know the tradition. They prepare for this time of year. I think they're going to be extremely well prepared for Norland. I don't think they win that game, but I think they'll have a better showing than people realize. Staying on the other side of that, it's Berkeley Prep or Plantation American Heritage. But I think Norland is going to be a little bit too much. But again, there's a reason Bulls is in this game every single year. They're comfortable with it. I do think it'll be a closer game, even though everything kind of points against Bulls. I do think it'll be a little bit closer than people think.
Matt Toblin has been to 6 state semifinals, 5 with Bulls and 1 at Ponte Vedra. He's been to a couple of state championships in there as well. Still doesn't have the payoff ultimately at the end to show for it. But, man, you would have to think among all coaches in the state of Florida, he's probably on a pretty high list among the better coaches and the jobs they've done that still haven't reached the top of the mountain yet.
Yeah, and they were there a couple years ago against Miami, Washington, and they had a chance and just did not get it done. He had a shot against Plantation American Heritage, a game where the Patrick Surtains of the world were playing on that team, and Nick Troney nearly led them to a state championship in that game. They were up 14-0 on Heritage in that game. They've had a good battle with Cocoa, and they just have not been able to get it done. The second half in those games have really, really hurt Bulls, and at some point he's going to get it done. At some point, I think Matt will get a state championship. It's kind of like the Phil Mickelson years ago, when people always referred to Phil was the best player never to win a major. And then all of a sudden he starts winning majors right and left. I think that's similar to Matt. I think he will get there. He's been so steady and good at getting there with teams that you thought had no chance at getting there. And again, coaching makes so much difference at the high school football level. You saw that with Corky Rogers. Even when he did not have the horses, they still managed to get there. You've seen it with Bowles and Matt Toblin. You've seen it with Verlon Dorminey. You saw it with Joey Wiles all the time at St. Augustine. So coaching makes such a big difference. And Matt is one of those coaches, and that coaching staff is one of those units that you got to count on. You count on every year to get here because they've done it time and again. They've got a recipe and a formula, and those players believe.
A couple of more for Justin Barney of Channel 4. Bowles is on the road. Trinity is on the road. We talked about Bradford being at home. St. Augustine will be at home. The undefeated Yellow Jackets in St. Johns County Friday night as they welcome in a Fort Myers Dunbar team that's going to make about that 4.5, 5-hour drive up to St. Augustine. What do you think about the Yellow Jackets' chances on Friday?
Love St. Augustine's chances. I talked to Brian Braddock at the beginning of the year, and I used to work in St. Augustine as a sports editor down there at the paper, so I covered so many of these St. Augustine teams over the years, from 2001 all the way to 2012, and I saw so many of these St. Augustine teams, some of the best teams in program history, and I likened this team, this current St. Augustine team, to the one back in 2003, a team that included sophomores and Brandon James, Quentin Hancock, Jaquez Rickerson, a lot of these young guys who kind of cut their teeth early. Had a good showing when they were sophomores, but really took that next step in 2004. And by this time they were seniors, they won state championships. And I talked to Brian at length about that during the before the kickoff this year. And he said, yeah, the parallels are certainly there. Brian was a coach back then at St. Augustine under Joey Wiles. And I really think the St. Augustine team, if not this year, next year they win a state championships, but this year they have gotten it done. They've got a great running back in Devontae Lyons, a very underrated running back. Lachlan Hewlett, one of the best quarterbacks in the area, junior. And the receivers of St. Augustine are just an embarrassment of riches. Carl Jenkins Jr., Trenton Jones, Miles Simmons, just so many guys. Samorian Wingo. That receiving core runs 4 and 5 deep, and they had a little trouble last weekend. Shocked on. I think they needed that. They kind of got socked in the mouth, and they haven't been hit like that this year. And they came back, and they ended up winning 35-26. They needed a game like that. I think this is a state championship caliber team. I think they win big this week, and it's going to be Vanguard or Mainland in that state championship game. Would love to see that, and I think St. Augustine has that talent. Again, they've got defensive guys too: Ja'Kai Singleton, Drake Lusk, Braylon James. Just so many guys on this team that just remind me so much of those 04 and 05 St. Augustine teams. 04 team lost in the semifinals to Bowles, best Bowles team I've ever seen, with Riley Skinner and Rocky Ross and those guys. And then by 2005, St. Augustine went 15-0 and won a state title. I think that's the trajectory this St. Augustine team is on.
Yeah, Dunbar, somewhat of a Cinderella. They were the 4 seed in their region in South Florida. They've come all the way through to the state semis, and they will make the trip up to St. Augustine on Friday. That leaves us with Mandarin as the 5th and final team. We'll talk about, they've gone through Orlando like a hot knife through butter. Justin, Winter Park, Lake Mary, Sanford Seminole, all on the road. 3 victories back to back to back. The reward for that is a longer trip now, 4.5 hours, to play a Monarch team, Coconut Creek, I believe, that I truthfully don't know a lot about, yet they're obviously very good, being in the state semifinals.
Yeah, and Mandarin, the last time he was here, Toby Bullock was the offensive coordinator under Bobby Ramsey, and it was just a kind of everything lined up together. They were 6-4 in the regular season, and what happened? They run the table in the playoffs. They beat Columbus in the state championship game, and Monarch is not a familiar team in terms of the creme de la creme of high school football. But Calvin Ridley went to played high school football there, so they do have some tradition there. But I think this Mandarin team, again, reminds me a little bit of that Mandarin team in 2018. A little bit of a kind of not saying underwhelming regular season, but a regular season where you thought, thought a little bit more was there. They were 7-3 in the regular season, but man, they have just been lights out in the playoffs, and it's everything is working together with them. The passing attack and how good that has been with Trammell and Jamie, but Tion Weiss, the running back, again, he is an underrated running back, so good out of the backfield, 1,500 yards rushing, 22 touchdowns. Deshard Westcott, he's the other half of that powerful running attack. And then the defense too has come up big. We know about Drake Stubbs, the big safety there, but Jackson Copeland, linebacker, has been been phenomenal. Grant Pettigrew, he's got 18 tackles for loss. A.J. Belgrave Shorter, I mean, just the list goes on of guys who are contributing, making plays, and have allowed them to not only have to, Jamie and Trammell are not going to get it done every game. You're going to need other guys. And Mandarin has been the epitome of that. Last time they were this far in the playoffs, they won a state championship. I think they've got a good chance at playing for one again. And the team they beat for a state championship under Carson Beck and Demario Douglas, Miami Columbus, on the other side of that bracket as well. Columbus would love some redemption at the expense of Mandarin.
Justin, not to put words in your mouth, but you seem pretty optimistic about most of our teams on Friday night.
I think there's a good chance that we've got a few teams remaining after this week. I think Bowles is in trouble. I think Mandarin has a good chance to win. I think Bradford wins. I think St. Augustine wins. So I do think we have a pretty good shot at getting more than half of these teams in the postseason. And as well, if we go up to Georgia in our Pierce County region, I think we get the Bears in a state championship too. They're playing Fitzgerald. And, former University Christian coach Robbie Pruitt's son, Tucker Pruitt, coaching Fitzgerald. So a little bit of a local tie there.
Justin Barney of Channel 4. Justin, know you're very busy, man. Thank you for the time. We'll do it again next week.
Take care, Hack. Thanks for having me.
If you were given a chance to pick this week's games, could you pick them?
Of course.
It's 1010XL's weekly pick'em contest. You could win a barbecue feast from ABBQ at 1010XL.com. Brought to you by MyBookie and J. David Tax Law.
The Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is now offering online scheduling for new patient appointments for all of their physicians. Simply schedule your appointment on your cell phone, tablet, or desktop. JOI is the first orthopedic practice in North Florida to offer this feature to patients. To schedule your appointment online, visit joi.net and click on the button at the top of the page. If you'll be using insurance, be sure and have your information handy. JOI, where the pros go.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Sometimes we have partners at the radio station that are trying to get their message out, and sometimes it hits my ears just perfectly. And that's the deal with this Prize Picks. Have you tried this daily fantasy sports yet? It's so cool. It's so different. You pick between 2 and 6 players. They have a projected stat total, simple as pie. You just got to pick whether they go over or under that statistical projection. It is cool, man. I've been doing it almost every day. You can play